Is the new legendary Duelist Water Duelist pack worth considering picking up? I'm here to answer that question today. Like 30% of you guys have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can climb up the 100k ladder. So Duelist pack, Mako Tsunami, Incest, all wrapped up in a nice little bundle here. And I do think that this Duelist pack is going to be one of the more interesting ones this year. So we get to start off with the interesting little takes here for the Mega Fortress. Remember, Mako Tsunami is on our pack versus the OCG. So if enemies face up in your field and you activate this effect, your water monsters can attack directly this turn. During your opponent's battle phase quick effect, target a face-up monster they control, destroy it. Sure. If this card on the field is destroyed by a battle card effect, and take a water warrior monster from your deck or graveyard, either add it to your hand or special summon it. Of all the big support cards for Mako, this one was alright. This thing is busted. If Umi's on the field, quick effect target a water monster you control, except for Doomkraken, and one monster your opponent controls, this thing gets to special summon itself, and you bounce back the opponent's card back to their hand. Or, yeah. So, yours bounces, you pop theirs. It's good. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, this thing gets to return itself back to the hand, and you get to negate that attack. One of my favorite cards. Physalis here, as I call it. Send an Umi from your hand, deck, or field to the graveyard. Special summon a water monster from your hand, so it's a free water extender, which is absolutely amazing. When your opponent activates a spell card or effect or a monster effect and Umi's face on the field, you can negate that effect and see it gets 600 attack and defense. That is a permanent stack, by the way. This card is really good. Fish Sonar, you can add a level 7 or lower monster that is a water monster, or specifically list Umi in its text from your deck to your hand. And then if Umi's face up, you can special summon a water monster. That's normal from your hand. This, alright, for sure. The Sonar, the Kraken are all really good. And we'll talk about the best card here in a bit here. See Stealth 2? It becomes Umi while on the field and in the graveyard, which is actually relevant. Your opponent cannot target water monsters you control with non-water monster effects. That's absolutely amazing. At the start of the battle phase, you can target a monster list Umi in its text or a water normal monster from your hand or graveyard and special summon it, but it pops itself during the end phase. Your little combo with this is you can add back if your opponent attempts to do something, you can quick effect special, do the bounce shenanigans so it doesn't die. It's actually really interesting. Then we have the Kyroshin of the Reef here. You can send one face-up Umi you control to the graveyard. Special summon monsters, or you cannot special summon until the end of your turn except for water monsters. Also special summon 2 water normal monsters and or monsters specifically list Umi in their text with different names from your hand or deck in face-up defense position. And then if your opponent controls monsters, you can special summon any number of level 6 lower water monsters from your hand or deck that are normal. This card is a one-of at best, but that's some really like decent water support, right? Like protection, searching, a negate, and the extender. Yeah, this deck gets by on the bare minimum, at least in that regard. Alright, now the Incest support. I know, we're jumping really ahead here. So, Spring Girl here. Banish a Incest monster from your graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. Oh, free extender. That's really good. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a Water Link monster, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard equal to the number of Incest cards you control and ping your opponent for 200 for each Incest card sent to the graveyard by this effect. It's not bad. The Sleepy Maiden here, which a lot of people cut this. So you can target a Incest card you control, special summon this card from your hand. If you do, it gains this effect. The target cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects while this card is in the monster zone. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target a Incest Link monster you control, equip a Incest Link monster to that Link monster. So first of all, you can target any Incest card, so you can go target the field cell, so I'll summon it, and then it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects while this card is in the monster zone, which is pretty good. Not gonna lie. Alright, I love protection. And then Aqua Argonaut. This was the best Link monster that they could have wanted. So it's 2+ water monsters on a Link 4. Your opponent's monsters cannot attack other monsters while this card is in the extra monster zone. This thing's been the bane of my day since it's been out. This card is so good. You can target 1 water monster you control, 1 card your opponent controls, return them to the hand. Okay. Any water monster, by the way. When a spell, trap card, or effect is activated on the field during your opponent's turn, quick effect, special summon a Incest monster equipped this card, and if you do, negate that effect. You have a walking, talking, just free negate built into the Incest cards. This card was absolutely amazing. Incest Dive, activate one of these effects, but then you get locked into water for the rest of this turn. So you can target 1 non-Link Incest monster in your graveyard, special summon it. That's not bad. Or if Incest Battle Ocean is in your field zone, you special summon a Incest monster from your deck. Well, shucky darn. I'll take that. All right. Now, our trap cards here were interesting. Incest Circulation. If you control a Link 3 or higher Incest monster, you can activate this card from your hand. Target one Water Link monster you control, return it to extra deck, and do special summon one Incest Link monster from your extra deck with the same Link rating, but different name. But it cannot attack directly, and it cannot be destroyed by battle, and this is treated as Link Summon. You literally get the ability to rotate out your Link monster, and while I'm not a super big fan of this card, it's kind of cute. And then Bubble Ring here. When a monster declares a direct or an attack, negate that attack and do special summon Incest Crystal Heart from your extra deck or graveyard. You banish this card from your graveyard, target one Link 2 or higher Incest Link monster you control. Its maximum number of attacks per battle phase becomes its Link rating, but your opponent takes no battle damage. This card was also cute, but it's not what we wanted. Nash Knight. This was actually kind of cool. So this was 2 level 5 monsters to make. Alright, you can only use this card's name's effect once per turn. This cannot be destroyed by battle if a number of monsters on the field. Okay. During the main phase, so either player's turn, you can detach 2 materials from this card to take one number exceed monster that has a number between 101 and 107 from your extra deck and attach it to this card as material. And then you can attach one other face-up monster on the field to this card as material. The greatest complaint we had about this card was if it gets Cxyz, you just cry. But it does set up some interesting situations for the other support we got here. Kyroshin Leviathan. This is the thing that makes Mako's support in this set work. While Umi is on the field, each player can only control one face-up non-water monster. If a player controls 2 or more face-up non-water monsters, that player sends those monsters to the graveyard until they control only one. That is a non-activating floodgate effect, ladies and gentlemen. There will be so many situations where you'll be playing the Mako deck, or, you know, a variation of it, and your opponent will just have some, like, huge Omni Negates on the field, some very unpleasurable monsters that you'll have to see and deal with here. This just takes care of them. No activation required. It just creates a floodgate effect. During your main phase, you can add a Umi, Kyroshin spell trap card, or a Sea Stealth attack from your deck to your hand. That is absolutely amazing value. Like, this card does so much for this deck. It's amazing. Shark support from this set was very interesting. Abyss Shark. If all monsters you control are water, minimum 1, you cannot special summon monsters for rest turn except for water monsters. Also, next battle damage your opponent takes this turn from battle involving your number of monsters doubled. And then you special summon this card from your hand, add a level 3, 4, or 5 monster to your deck to your hand, except for Abyss Shark. That's just free value. If this card is used as exceed material for a number of monsters, treat it as a 3 or 4. So you can do whatever you want with it. The Crystal Shark here, if this card is in your hand, you target one water monster on the field, and you get locked for the rest of the turn, except for Cxyz. Alright, and then special summon this card with banish leaves the field. And if you do, the current attack of the monster is halved. Okay. If this card is used for an Cxyz summon, it can be treated as a 3 or 4. Okay. Baryon's Chaos Draw. So the majority of this extra stuff here is going to be just Baryon support. So to activate this card, you must draw it for your normal draw phase and reveal it and keep it revealed during main phase 1 of the same turn to activate this effect. Send a rank up Magic 7/1 or 7/1's normal spell card from your deck to the graveyard. This effect becomes that spell card. Or you can special summon up to 2 monsters from your deck, but negate their effects. And if you do immediately effect resolves, you can Exceed summon a normal, or excuse me, a number Exceed monster. It's okay. Ascension of the 7 Emperors. So, you can take 1 ring of Magic 7/1, 1 7 Emperor spell card other than the Ascension, a Baryon spell trap card, or a quick play spell card from your deck, neither add it to your hand or put it on the top of your deck. Okay. So this is going to be able to trigger those key cards. If your opponent controls these monsters, special summon the extra deck and banish this card from your graveyard, and send 1 rank up magic card from your deck or hand to the graveyard, this effect becomes that spell's effect when this card is activated. Alright, and then we've got Eternity of the 7 Emperors. So you can target 1 Exceed monster you control, that is a number monster, with a number between 101 and 106 in its name, that has a monster as material to activate one of these effects. Negate the effect of 1 face-up monster opponent controls with attack equal to or lower than that until the end of the turn. Or detach all materials from that card, special summon the number Exceed monster from your graveyard. So it's free Monster Reborn. This was okay. Coral Anemone, or Coral Triangle here. This really bridged the gap for Incest. So 2+ Incest monsters to make it, okay? For Link 3, that's okay. So you can only use for this card's name once per turn. You cannot special monsters turn you activate either of these cards' effects except for water monsters. Send a water monster from your hand to the graveyard to add a Incest trap card or from your deck to your hand. Cool, so we can search for Wave now. If your opponent controls a monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon any number of water Link monsters from your graveyard whose total Link ratings equal 3. This card is absolutely amazing. And then Cxyz Nash Knight here. 3 level 6 monsters make it. You can also exceed some of this card using a Nephilium. You control, transfer the materials. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. You detach a material from this card's special summon a number exceed monster that has a number between 101 and 107 in its name from your extra deck by using face-up cards you control as material, but destroy it during your next end phase. Hey! It basically, you use the regular Nash Knight to attach any of the previous 101 through 107 to it, and then you can rank up through this, which means that you'll have the original material. So mission accomplished. Overall, the Incest and Mako stuff in this Duelist pack makes this set actually really extraordinary, in my opinion. This is one of the funnest Duelist packs that I've had the chance to mess around with. And if you're a fan of Incest and Mako, I think you'll find that a lot more enjoyable versus like the Shark support, in my opinion. So is it worth it? I think so. What do you guys think? Please, if you comment down below to interesting, make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more off content. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.